Good morning, students. I'm your English teacher in Vittal Matriculation School. Today, Tuesday, in last class, what we have seen? The prose lesson from second unit. The title of the lesson is The Wind on Hunted Hill. The Wind on Hunted Hill. Yes. Are you all find the riddles? I have a head and a tail, but no body. It's the coin, right? We have to toss for games like head or tail, like that. That coin is the riddle's answer. Then, are you all happy, students? Had your breakfast? Yes. Now, I am going to say the summary of the section 1. Are you all read it well? You have to go through this passage, students. That time you will get more understand about from this lesson, okay? Yes, let me recall. Have you ever heard the sound of the wind? It sounds like a hoo hoo hoo. Here, the author is telling about the Himalayan region full of snow, where we have tall pines and deodar trees. You can hear the sound over the hills. The author is describing a hill which he calls as hunted as her. There were people in those areas some years back, but there is no one there now, only a few trees and bushes. He is telling about a hilly region where we can always see a small village on the slopes of the next hill. People kept some large stones on the tin roof so that they doesn't blow away. In those areas, whatever is whether sunny or cold, there is always wind blowing and doors and windows rattled, chimneys chalked, and clothes which were hung on cloth hanger blew away. Then, in that village, three children were drying their clothes, right? They kept a stone on each clothing so that they won't fly, but still the clothes were fluttering. Usha was one of them. She had dark hair and rosy cheeks. She was struggling to hold her grandfather's long, loose shirt, right? Yes. Then she was just 11. She was just 11 or 12 years old. She had a younger brother named Suresh who was holding the bedsheet. Usha's friend and neighbor called Binya, she's Binya, right? Who was older to Usha, was handing them clothes to dry. Finally they finally they made sure that the clothes were held by rocks on the wall. After that, they sat on the flat stone just looking at the fields and the ruined haunted hill. Usha told Binya and Suresh that she wanted to go to the bazaar or market, though Binya wanted to accompany her. She said she could not as her mother was not well and she has to help in the household chores. Suresh was ready to go with Usha. The market was 3 miles away and on the other side of the haunted hill. Usha said she could not take Suresh as he has to help his grandfather to cut some wood. Usha and Suresh's father was in the army, so only Suresh and his grandfather were the only men in the house. Suresh was younger and he was just 8 years old. He was just 8 years old and was chubby and with almond shaped eyes. Suresh was worried if she can come back alone from the market. Usha said, why she should be worried? Suresh replied, Suresh replied that there are ghosts on the hill. Usha replied that she will be back before night and that ghosts will not appear during the day. Binya asked if there are any ghosts at the ruins. Usha told that her grandfather always told stories that many years ago there was a British people who lived on the hill, but that place was not safe as lightning often struck there. So those people changed to another area on the next range. Binya was still not satisfied. She asked if the people have moved away. Then why would ghosts be there? Usha said that according to what grandfather said, everyone, even the children, were killed hit by the lightning in one of the houses. Then Binya was amazed and asked if Usha's grandfather was not afraid of ghosts. Usha said that old people did not have much fear. Usha started walking for the market at around 2 p.m. Then she had to walk on her horse to reach the market. She walked through the mustard fields, then through the ruins. The road leads to the ruins. Usha knew that route well as she always went for weekly shopping to the market or her aunt's house through that route. Then the path was full of wildflowers, right? And a plum tree grew out of the hall of the ruins. She could see the lizards and the purple colored bird named Whistling Thrush sang. Yes, Whistling Thrush sang. Then Usha did her purchasing in the market and she bought some soap, matchboxes, spices, sugar, and new pipe stem for her grandfather's hookah and a math exercise book for Suresh. She even bought him some marbles. She went to the cobbler to repair her mother's slippers, but the cobbler was busy, so he asked her to come after half an hour. Then she had saved 2 rupees for herself, which she used it to buy amber colored bead necklace from a Tibetan lady. The lady had a shop at the end of the market and she used to sell charms and trinkets, which is small jewelry. Meanwhile, Usha met her auntie, who took her home to have some tea. Then Usha spent almost an hour listening to her auntie, who told her about all the ailments she has, like pain in left shoulder, then stiffness in joints, etc. Right? She had 2 cups of tea, and when she looked out of the window, she could see black clouds. Usha ran to the cobbler and took her mother's slippers. The shopping bag was full. She hanged it over the shoulder and started for her village. Students, are you all understood the section 1? Yes. Then today we have to see in the section 2. Before that, we have to read the glossary, right? Say with me, moaned. Make a long, low sound. Make a long, low sound. Hunted. Possessed. Hunted. Possessed. Ruins. Decayed. Ruins, decayed, collapsed building or place. Terrible, fearful, terrible, fearful. Saddle, low point on a ridge between 2 summits. Crumbling, breaking apart into small pieces. scuttled, ran with short, quick steps. Whistling thrush, a small singing bird, straggling, spreading out in different directions. Then let me read this section too. Yes. Take turns and read this section aloud. Yeah. First one is, strangely the wind had dropped. The trees were still, not a leaf moved. The crickets were silent in the grass. The crows flew round in a circle, then settled down for the night in a oak tree. Let me explain. Suddenly, to her surprise, there was no wind. The trees were standing still, and the insect crickets were silent. The crows flew in a circle and then settled under a oak tree. Yes. I must get home before dark, said Usha to herself as she hurried along the path. I must get home before dark, said Usha to herself as she hurried along the path. But already the sky was darkening. The clouds, black and threatening, looked over Hunted Hill. This was March, the month for storms. So, let me explain this. Usha almost walked fast as she wanted to reach home before dark, but the sky was getting dark. The clouds were black over the Hunted Hill. It was March month, always had storms. A keen rumble echoed over the hills, and Usha felt the first heavy drop of rain hit her cheek. Let me explain. There was a rumble of thunder. And the Usha felt the first raindrop on her cheek. First heavy drop of rain. Then she had no umbrella with her. Weather had seemed so fine just a few hours ago. Now all she could do was tie an old scarf over her head and pull her shawl tight across her shoulders. Holding the shopping bag close to her body, she quickened her pace. She was almost running, but the raindrops were coming down faster now. Big, heavy pellets of rain. Let me explain. Usha did not carry her umbrella. Because when she started, the weather was perfectly fine. So she took her scarf and tied. So she took her scarf and tied. See? Scarf and tied it over the head and pulled her shawls across her shoulders. She held the shopping bag close to her body and walked faster, but rain had already started and it was heavy too. Yes, a sudden flash of lightning light up the hill. The ruin stood. Lightning light up the hill. The ruin stood out, clear outline. Then all was dark again. Night had fallen. Here, what they said. Suddenly there was a bolt of lightning, and she could see the ruins. Again it was completely dark as it became night. I won't get home before the storm breaks, thought Usha. I'll have to shelter in the ruins. She could only see a few feet ahead, but she knew the path well and she began to run. Let me explain. Usha was now sure that the could not reach home as the storm was heavy. She has to take shelter somewhere. Maybe the ruins as it was just a few feet away. She ran to the ruins as she knew how to go there. Then suddenly the wind sprang up. Suddenly the wind sprang up again and brought the rain with a rush against her face. It was cold, stinging rain. It was cold, stinging rain. She could hardly keep her eyes open. Here again the wind started. Again the wind started with rain and hit on her face. It was cold, and due to the rain, she could hardly open her eyes. Then the wind grew. The wind grew in force, right? Grew in force. It hummed. It hummed and whistled. It hummed and whistled. Usha did not have to fight against it. It was behind her now and helped her along up the steep path and on the brow of the hill. Let me explain. Now the wind grew more and it made a noise like a hum or a whistle, right? Usha was being pushed up towards the hill by the strong winds. There was another flash of lightning, followed by a peal of thunder. The ruins looked up before her, grim and forbidding. Grim and forbidding. There was another thunder and lightning, and she could see the ruins unwelcoming and unsympathetic. Yes. Then she knew there was a corner where a piece of old roof remained. Piece of old roof remained. It would give some shelter. It would be better than trying to go on in the dark in the howling wind. She had only to stay off the path to go over a rocky cliff edge. Let me explain. Here Usha knew there was a roof on one corner that can give her some shelter, as it would be better than going on towards her village. Then it was dark and she had to go through the rocky cliff. Yes. Then hoo 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 howled the wind. She saw she saw the wild plum tree swaying bent doubles, its foliage thrashing against the ground. The broken walls did little to stop the wind. Here the wind started to make noise again like hoo hoo. Usha saw how the plum tree was swaying due to the heavy wind, and it's almost bent to the ground. Usha found her way into the ruined building, helped by her memory of the place and the constant flicker of lightning. She began moving along the wall, hoping to reach the sheltered corner. She placed her hands flat against the stones and moved sideways. Her hand touched something soft and furry. She gave a startled cry and took her hand away. Her cry was answered by another cry, half snarl, half screech, and something leaped away in the darkness. Yes, here Usha reached the ruins with the help of the lightning and some memory. She moved along the wall to reach the place hid from the wind. She walked through the stones and slowly moved sideways. She touched something soft, and with a startle, she screamed and removed her hand. Someone answered her. It cried and went away. It cried and went away. Then it was only Wildcat. It was only Wildcat. Usha realized this when she heard it. When she heard it, the cat lived in the ruins. The cat lived in the ruins, and she had often seen it. But for a moment, she had been very frightened. Very frightened. Now she moved quickly along the wall until she heard the rain drumming on the remnant 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 of the tin roof. Remnant of the tin roof. Yes, it was none other than Wildcat. Yes, Usha was now clear after she heard the cry that cat lived there, and Usha has often seen it there. But at the moment she was frightened. Now she started walking quickly towards the roof. She heard the rain on the roof making a noise like a drum. Making a noise like a drum. Yes. Then, students, are you all understood this passage? Then, once under it, crouching in the corner, she found some shelter from the wind and the rain. Above her, the tin sheets groaned and clattered as if they would sail away at any moment. But they were held down by the solid branch of a straggling old oak tree. Let me explain. Usha tried to find a place away from wind and rain under the roof. The tin sheets made loads of noise, and it appeared as if it would blow away. But the tin sheet was held down by a branch of an oak tree. Yes. Next, Usha remembered that across the empty room stood an old fireplace, and that there might be some shelter under the blocked up chimney. Perhaps it would be drier than it was in her corner. But she would not attempt to find it just now. She might lose her way altogether. Let me explain. Usha remembered that there is a chimney over there. Since it was clogged, she can take shelter under it. It would be drier over there, and she wanted to find it. But she just wanted to take some time. Otherwise, she might lose the way altogether. As next, her clothes were soaked and the water streamed down from her long black hair to form a puddle at her feet. She she stamped her feet to keep them warm. She thought she heard a faint cry. Was it the cat again or an owl? But the sound of the storm blotted out all other sounds. Yes. Then Usha was wet. Her clothes were soaked and water dripped from her hair. She stamped her feet to keep herself warm. She again heard a faint cry. Maybe again the same cat or an owl. but the sound of the storm drowned out the other noises. Then there had been no time to think of ghosts, but now that she was in one place without any plans for venturing out again. She remembered grandfather's story. She remembered grandfather's story about the lightning blasted ruins. She hoped and prayed that lightning would not strike her as she sheltered there. Yes, here till this time Usha did not remember about any ghost as she was doing things unplanned. But since she is in one place, she suddenly remembered grandfather's story about the ruins. She just prayed that lightning should not strike there till she takes shelter. Then thunder boomed over the hills, and the lightning came quicker now, only a few seconds between each burst of lightning. Then there was a here let me explain. There was heavy thunder, right? And lightning struck almost every few seconds. Now there was a heavy thunder and lightning struck almost every few seconds. Now then there was a bigger flash than most. Then there was a bigger flash than most, and for a second or two the entire ruin was lit up. A streak of blue sizzled along the floor of the building, in at one end and out at the other. Usha was staring straight ahead. As the opposite wall was lit up, she saw crouching in the disused fireplace two small figures. They could only have been children. And the ghostly figures looked up, staring back at Usha, and then everything was dark again. See? Then there was a bigger flash, and the entire room was lit up for a second or two. A blue streak blazed along the floor from one end to another. Usha was looking straight ahead. On one wall, she could see two small figures in the unused fireplace. She was sure they were the brother and sister. The ghost stared at Usha. The ghost stared at Usha, and everything was dark again. Everything was dark again. Students, are you all understood section 2? As it is the section 2, let me read the glossary, okay? Listen. Forbidding, forbidding, unfriendly or frightening, unfriendly or frightening. Foliage thrashing, foliage thrashing. Hitting leaves and branches, hitting leaves and branches. Foliage thrashing, hitting leaves and branches. Flicker, shine, flicker, shine. Startled, startled, frightened, startled, frightened. Remnant, remnant, what was left? Remnant, what was left? Crouching, crouching. Bending down, bending down. Crouching means bending down. Groaned and clattered, groaned and clattered. Banged together and made a loud noise, banged together and made a loud noise. Puddle, puddle, pool of water, pool of water. blotted out, blotted out, hid, blotted out, hid, streak, line, streak, line, streak, line, sizzled, sizzled, hissed like something hot on a frying pan, hissed like something hot on a frying pan. Then, do you know the Bermuda Triangle is one of the greatest unsolved mysterious spots in the world? The Bermuda Triangle is one of the greatest. The Bermuda Triangle is one of the greatest unsolved mysterious spots in the world. It is a triangular shaped area. It is a triangular shaped area in the North Atlantic Ocean. North Atlantic Ocean. Hundreds of people and numerous boats, ships and planes have disappeared inside this triangle. Hundreds of people and numerous boats, ships and planes have disappeared inside this triangle. The reason for these disappearances still remains a mystery. Remains a mystery. Here mystery means strange. See, triangle shape is there. Here disappear the people, hundreds of peoples, numerous boats, ships, planes, etc. Right? Disappear inside this triangle. Yes. Students, let me continue in the next day, section 3rd. Okay. You have to read and memorize the glossary words and its meanings. You have to read the passage again. Read the passage again. Yes. Okay, students. Thank you. Keep safe at your home. Thank you, students.